Jang Woojin against Ma Long.
1-1.
And from what you just said there about Ma Long and the pressure, does that put him in the driving seat for you for the Olympics? I know this is the eternal question, isn't it?
It definitely puts him in the driving seat to be there, the driver's seat. In what capacity is another question. I've heard talk. I've got my ear to the ground, finger to the pulse a little bit, that it's expected Fan Zhendong and Wang Chuqin will be there for singles, and that Ma Long would be the third player for the team.
1-2.
It's a nice fiery step around here, recognizing a quick opportunity. Ma Long's got so many tricks up his sleeve. I think we've seen him struggle and pull out incredible tactics to find answers.
Yeah, World Cup. I think being a case in point when he was under the Kosh, 3-0 down. He goes on to win it against Lin Gaoyan.
And before that, against Liang Jingquin, who's recently been eliminated from this event. You remember he turned his racket around? This was a big deal. Champions Incheon. No shortage of answers here from Ma Long. People often ask what the peak age is of any player, and it depends what system you've come through.
Big swing at that one.
Ma Long really shortened that ball up because Jang Woojin is so good over the table. He had to touch this incredibly softly. That ball came in just behind the net. Jang Woojin still almost stole the opening attack. Good save by Jang Woojin.
Yeah.
Really showing his lungeability here, how far he can leap to get that ball. And even if it's not the most aggressive shot, sometimes just getting it back is enough, keeping it awkward.
I like that word, lungeability.
Thanks.
And he's drawn level here, Jang Woojin.
So many different things that work out well, so many different factors in the game for Jang Woojin. For me, he's a forehand dominant player, much like Ma Long. He's very fast on his feet, much like Ma Long, except much younger. And he's going to be hungry. He's going to have to play out of his norm.
4-5.
Good change of pace here. Jang Woojin with the racket in front. Watch this second shot. Jang Woojin just guiding it very gently there, slowing it down. Again, playing into that middle to see if Ma Long will turn for the forehand, step around, which he often will.
Yeah, you know, when you look at all the matches they played 3 previous matches as we showed. Within that, and I know it says 3-0, and I know he's only taken one game, but the games themselves have been tight. The vast majority, only a couple points between them. So we can match him. It's the ending, isn't it? Ma Long finishes so well.
And this is the key thing for a champion, the factor that really gets someone across the line. It's how you finish the game. Ma Long here, quick decision with that backhand. I talked about how he loves to step around for the forehand. At 35 years old, 36 come October 20th, he's going to be very selective about when he chooses to run around, because if he even leans to his left foot, if he starts to favor stepping around in this moment, look how quickly he was able to backpedal. I kept my eyes on Ma Long. He starts to move, barely reaches that next ball with a wide forehand. Ju Se-hyuk, one of very few choppers to have ever beaten Ma Long, and if memory serves, did it twice.
That's great from Jang Woojin. Getting on that forehand, what he wants to do. Jang Woojin was excellent against China in the semi-finals of the World Team Championships recently.
7-0.
The power on this step around. Jang Woojin really waiting for the right time, playing for positioning in this rally. And starts to make the move. That ball would have hit him square in the chest. He manages to move the feet, shuffle, step around, and power through that ball with the forehand. Tied up now.
That's more of a deft touch from Ma Long down the line.
So subtle in his movement, sneaks in and drops it where you least expect it. And to reference the event you were talking about, the World Team Championships, Korea taking China down to the wire to a fifth and final deciding match.
I tell you what, these two have in common. They're the only two people this year who have beaten Wang Chuqi.
It's a nice thing to have on your resume, a good checklist point there. Wide as can be on the angle. Jang Woojin going point for point. The end game, this is where Ma Long excels, and he's got a two-serve combination to come.
Oh, he's in front here, Jang.
Unreceived nonetheless. Ma Long is one of the most difficult players to receive. Partially because he's so subtle, he's so varied, and he's not afraid to try something new. So just that much more credit to the receiver right now in the lead.
Oh, brilliant there from Jang Woojin, who sets up 2 game points.
The combination play as aggressive as can be on the opening, and before there's time to recover, goes as wide as can be the opposite direction. Ma Long at 25 years old would have had trouble reaching that one.
Oh, well. Can he convert one of these two? One saved.
Ma Long able to steal the opening attack inside the baseline. It's amazing how good he is over the table. Both of these players are going to be using that tactic. But warned to get back to the game, you could understand the intent to just take a little bit more time now.
Just gets it over.
Dun it. Dun it, dun it.
So Ma Long for now has saved himself, still alive in this first game, 2 game points.
That one right there was the shot for me, the finger breaker. It's right near the baseline, and Ma Long is able to keep the racket speed to just faintly contact the ball, spin it, and keep it low enough that Jang Woojin doesn't have an easy counter. Alternating serves here until one has a 2-point lead to take the game.
And now it's Ma Long who sets up his first game point. Pressure has turned now. Different kind of pressure on Jang Woojin. Right on that one. Jang Woojin puts it away.
Jang Woojin has been very clever, very tactical to go as wide as possible to the forehand side whenever he has the opening opportunity. Meaning he's not just playing wide, he's adding side spin to it as well to take Ma Long out of position. After his surgery in 2019, when Ma Long came back, the wide forehand was his Achilles heel.
Second game point, third game point, in fact, for Jang Woojin.
Talked about his flexibility, his agility, but his ability to get around 2 of those shots in a row from the backhand corner and play forehand, still chase the wide forehand corner, took a lot of core strength.
That time lucky, Jang Woojin
11, game to Jang.
makes it and takes the first game. That is a rare game for him against Ma Long. Only the second time he's ever done it in 3 matches, in 4 now.
You could hear what it meant to him. He knows how important this first game will be. Hamstrings with a little bit of a massage after a 13-11 victory in the first. It is a big weight off his shoulders for now, but a long way to go.
So let's see what's happening. Table 3, Ovtcharov. Look at this. To Hiroto Shinazuka. And he's lost there. Shinazuka wins 3-1. What a result there. Wow.
It's interesting considering the Olympic selections were just made. Dima's been quite starring at the Olympic Games with 2 bronze medals in singles over the years. But it hasn't been the highlight of his career in recent history. So we'll see between now and Paris what happens.
Well, another one with Olympic hopes, albeit maybe not quite as strong a claim as before. He is trailing here. Ma Long. It's in keeping with the kind of day we have had here. There's something in the air in Jeddah.
Second game. Jump to serve. Love off.
Jang Woojin has never taken an opening game. It's Ma Long.
Love 1.
I like taking some chances out here, looking for the fast, long serve. Again, short points where he can, causing surprise. Soft hands, the touch play. Jang Woojin cradling the ball, leaving that open face of the racket right there to absorb the backspin and keep it right near the baseline.
That forehand again. Excellent from Jang.
Right, watching Ma Long in this rally, to me, he's like a scientist. He's taking data throughout, and before he can finish finding a conclusion or any sort of real strong case, point is over. Jang Woojin turns and plays it down the line for the win.
This is a great start for Jang Woojin.
Now, timing is a big thing in table tennis. You'll see players do all sorts of things. That's why the official, the umpire, will sometimes warn a player and say, please play. If I were in Ma Long's spot right now, I'd be slowing things down.
Yeah.
3-2.
And I don't say that because I think I have anything to offer to Ma Long. He's obviously one of the greatest brains in the game. But in general, players get on fire. They want to just keep rolling. The type of fight that you're feeling from Jang Woojin, he's going to just keep his foot
He's got
down.
that energy, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Keep going. He's ready to grab that ball. Let's go.
Yes. When you're on to something, you don't want it to stop. This is human nature. This is common. Give me more.
Do you foresee, having just said all that, a timeout coming in this kind of game if Jang Woojin continues maybe another point or two? Just to stunt that momentum?
Anything's possible. Typically, Ma Long's timeouts come a bit later. Not to mention, it might be in the midst of, say, a comeback from the opponent. The only time to call a timeout is if you think it will change the outcome of the match.
3-4.
Got him on the back foot with that serve.
This is a Ma Long specialty in the modern era where you have to remove the free hand after you toss the serve. Very few people serve fast and long to the wide forehand for an ace the way Ma Long has over the years.
Glorious rally. Jang wins it.
I love the quality in this point. Both players doing everything. Jang Woojin keeping his weight forward where he can. It's a fine balance between slowing the ball down but keeping yourself forward. and ready to twist quickly to make that pivot and jump on top of the opportunity to really take control in the point.
They stayed in it, Jang. And Ma Long comes out on top.
Ma Long doing a wonderful job to stay closer to the table in this and giving Jang Woojin a taste of his own medicine. Then back to the middle, behind the table. Few players can consistently counter with the backhand. Jang Woojin taking his chances, though. Every once in a while, you see someone lob down Ma Long. Every once in a while.
Fantastic from Jang. Now, Jang, if I said to you, he's got a 34% win rate against Chinese players, for those not as familiar with the game, they'll be like, so what? But give us the context of that.
Well, I can only think of one player who's not Chinese who has a percent over 50 against anyone from China. Against the Chinese players. It's incredibly unlikely for anyone to have over 30% against Chinese players.
Which means Jang is doing very, very well.
He's one of the best in the world.
He's also one of that kind of that fearless Korean quality that we talked about before.
Hashtag Jangji Ke. Table tennis fans know. If you know, you know.
Let 7-5.
2-point lead here, Jang Woojin. He has never taken a second game in a match against Ma Long. But he's inching his way towards it.
A little bit of English out there, and I'm not afraid of the top
He does
spin.
that quite a bit, actually.
He speaks English more than most of his teammates. Little fun fact about him.
But it's interesting that when he's, instead of choing or something else in Korean, he's saying it in English. That
Right.
I find interesting.
5-9.
Come on.
He's feeling it.
He is the team clown. He's the funny guy on the team, but he's also one of the strongest fighters on the team. He's been a team leader by world ranking over the years for quite some time, on and off.
6-9.
Got to dig a little deeper, Ma Long. That's not something he will find too difficult to do. That intense clap.
Wang Hao is an intense guy.
It's very funny to watch Wang Hao, and when his team are in a bit of trouble, this intense stare that he's got and the clap.
Unless he's showing a video of his daughter golfing or something like that.
That's what he's like all the time.
Child golf in general. Unless he's chatting it up with you, he's got intensity. The 4 game points to Jang Woojin.
Oh, Richie converts. Jang Woojin
To Jang.
is up by 2. He's never been in this position before against Ma Long.
Well, the timeout was not called, and from 6-9, after 5-9 to 6-9, there was a feeling that the only way you would see a timeout possibly was if Ma Long was at 14-13, wasn't able to convert the game. But right now, in a best of 5, with the type of mojo, with the vibes that Jang Woojin is putting on out here, this is not going to be an easy day for Ma Long, to say the least.
This is superb from Jang Woojin's perspective. 11-6. He's winning 2-0 here against Ma Long.
Time.
Well, this is... We've seen players, Adam, when it kind of dawns upon them that they might be about to do something very special. Some of them freeze. Not saying Jang does, but it happens, right?
It is when you look,
Match to serve. Lobo.
celebrate a little bit early, lose your focus. It's the last few steps of the tightrope walk where most people plummet, where they fall.
And a best of 5 scenario, which is what this match is. Jang Woojin wins 68% of his game 3s. Ma Long.
1-all.
He wins 70% of his 3rd games. Let's see what happens here. He's under pressure, whether he shows it or not.
I have an analogy for you, Shahzad. Things can get overwhelming sometimes. You look at something on your to-do list, you think, man, I just wish I could cross this one off. When you find yourself really making progress, how does that affect you? 6 of the last 8 before this, and I'll tell you how it affects me.
Yeah.
When I'm finally getting the ball rolling on something that was just agonizing and painstaking to try and get through, I don't want it to go for granted. I don't want it to be in vain.
Yeah.
I really want to finish the job.
Yep.
And I can imagine Jang Woojin right now more than ever wants the same. But an arc on this one, and Ma Long on top of the topspin, sees the opening, exploits the wide forehand. Jang Woojin turning the corner a little bit. Thinks he knew.
Yeah,
You would imagine, had an idea in his head that it was coming to his backhand side.
3-all.
I mean, I get your point when you're 2 up against someone, especially like Ma Long.
It's not fun coming close to being amazing time and time and time again.
Just falling. Yeah.
I'll tell you who I didn't talk to about an hour ago. Ruin Filus. I let him sit.
Yeah.
There are times to talk to people, and there are times when you don't want to talk to people. When they come incredibly close to a massive win, that's not the time to talk to them.
I tell you what, in that match you're referring to, Lin Shadong's coach definitely let off some steam after he was done.
Well, he's on the line too.
Yeah.
Coaching staff, everybody has to answer to someone, even your heroes.
It's not been a great day for China. We've lost Wang Manyu today.
1.
Lin Gaoyan.
2. Liang
Liang
Jingkun.
Jingkun earlier in the day, before we even started.
Lin Shadong and
Lin Shadong was over Chen Tianyi. We're almost out.
had match points against him.
I mean, if Ma Long goes today. Jang Woojin's got a 3-point lead here. Now.
This is the time for a timeout. 12.
of the last 16 to Jang Woojin. Wow. Go on, Adam, hit us.
Well, don't be afraid to shorten up the receive. Is one thing. Again, the subtle nuances about the game and the language itself could have missed a lot. But in terms of maybe not being afraid to spin, play the backhand, get Jang Woojin to step around to create the opening to counter. It is a bit of guessing on my part, but there was conversation about not being afraid to play the short receive.
While you were listening to all that, I was just looking at his expression, Ma Long. Whew.
It's a larger percent of the communication there, the body language.
Oh, wow. That's 4-point lead. I got to say, it was it was a kind of a, I'm at a bit of a loss here. That's just kind of the look I had on.
100%. I feel you. I saw Ma Long's face. That was a rare look to see.
I don't think you've been in this so long. How often do you see that kind of expression on his face?
I can't remember the last time I did. I mean,
Wow.
when he played against Wang Chuqin there, up until recently, it was a complete kryptonite situation.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Emphatic. But it has to be now, right?
And it's going to have to be consistent, too.
Yeah.
This shot is incredible, as fast as can be, and he stands there. But as you said, the body language, the facial expression, I mean, it almost took away the status that he's held since 2015.
The aura, right? Yeah.
I see pictures of him as a child all the time, and he's still got that youthful glow in many ways. But his body language in that timeout right now, you can understand it. It was almost like he could see the future.
This, well, I was going to say, it could be a future Saudi smash without another Chinese star, Ma Long. He's got to keep doing that. Down the line seems to be effective for him.
Well, he did the slow spinny one first and then played to the wide forehand. This is clever tactically, as Wang Hao would have discussed with him. Again, many players know that Jang Woojin loves to step around. His backhand has been better than usual this game. It has to be. Look at the scoreline.
Oh, five match points for Jang Woojin. My word.
The last game wasn't close. Right now, this one isn't either. Ma Long just beat everybody there is to beat recently in incredible style. So this is quite a day. Oh, no! A forehand flick like that against that last shot. To know exactly what spin was on that would have been challenging enough. Jang Woojin moving in and out on this one. 1 match point saved, 4 more to go for the ever-fighting Jang Woojin.
Another one. Cranking it up. Yeah, timeout. Not taking any risks.
Timeout.
It's a nice position to be in, to have 3 match points and no games against you, and have a conversation with this man here, Ju Se-hyuk.
Adam, 3 match points. Ma Long has saved 2 thus far. He has never been in this position before, Jang Woojin. With Ma Long. That's got to be playing somewhere in there. Human emotion. How do you separate that, right?
For me, the body language in the last 2 points, Jang Woojin, has changed a little bit.
7-10.
You can be as fired up as possible and still hit a slow shot. It just has to be turned into spin. Your racket speed, intensity can still be there. Jang Woojin is going to be fishing around looking for that opportunity and exploding at the first.
Let 7-10.
That's what I would imagine anyway.
Three in a row for Ma Long.
Hasn't let him up for a breath of air yet.
Remember, Ma Long has a 93% win rate against non-Chinese players. 93. Mind you, Wang Wenyu had a 95% win rate. She was disposed of earlier today. 2 match points remaining for Jang Woojin on serve. Jang Woojin with a bit of history beats the great Ma Long for the very first time in his career. And that is yet another Chinese star out early at the Saudi Smash 2024.
This is an incredible day for Jang Woojin and for the world of table tennis, for Ma Long fans, table tennis fans for that matter, to see Ma